If you can't sit in a room alone with your own thoughts, you're already lost. Because the man who needs attention will never earn respect. How'd you want to win in life? Stop chasing noise. Start building in silence. That's where killers are made. There was a time when I had absolutely nothing. No fast cars, no private jets, no watches that cost more than people's houses, nothing. Just four walls, a broken laptop, and a relentless voice in my head that wouldn't shut up, telling me I was made for more. And let me tell you something. That was the most powerful stage of my life. You know why? Because being alone exposes the truth. No distractions, no social media dopamine, no one stroking your ego or softening the blow when life slaps you in the face. Most people think being alone is a curse. They see it as a failure, like if no one's around, you must not be valuable, you must be lonely. They think alone equals empty. That mindset is why they stay average. But I flipped the script. I looked around and said, good, no noise, no fake friends, no weak opinions, just me and my mission. And in that silence, that brutal, honest silence, I began to sharpen my mind like a blade. I studied, I strategized, I suffered, I trained. I didn't complain, I didn't ask for help, because I knew no one was coming to save me. And once you truly understand that, once you accept it, you unlock a different level of power most people will never taste in their entire lives. People love the crowd because the crowd distracts them from who they really are. Being alone forces you to confront your demons, your laziness, your excuses. It reveals whether you're a king or just playing dress up. And trust me, if you're weak inside, solitude will destroy you. But if you're strong, if you're willing to go through the fire and rebuild yourself from the ashes with no one clapping, no one watching, no one validating you, then that solitude becomes your superpower. I didn't build my life off praise. I built it off silence, off lonely nights. While others were chasing girls and drinking away their purpose, I was locked in. Tunnel vision, zero distractions. Because I understood something early. If you can learn to thrive alone, no one can ever control you again. No woman, no boss, no friend group, no algorithm, no opinion. You become unshakable. You become a man of absolute freedom. I built my empire not by being surrounded, but by being separated. Because greatness isn't built in the crowd, it's built in the shadows. And when I finally stepped out of that shadow, the world had no choice but to pay attention. Nobody respects the man who's always chasing. Not women, not society, not even life itself. The guy constantly seeking approval, attention, validation. He's already lost. He's operating from a place of lack, of insecurity. He doesn't even know who he is without someone else clapping for him. I see it every day. Men posting for likes, chasing girls with zero standards, pretending to be alphas while begging for attention like toddlers throwing tantrums. It's pathetic. You know what gets respected? Power, detachment, presence. That silent aura of someone who doesn't need you, but you still want to be around them. That's magnetic. That's masculine. When you walk into a room and you're not trying to be liked, you're just there, grounded, solid, confident, people feel that. They can't ignore it. That's real dominance, because people don't respect loud desperation. They respect quiet certainty. You don't need to flex your lifestyle. The moment you start living for other people's attention, you've handed them the leash. You've become a pet in their circus. I refuse to live like that. I never wanted to be liked. I wanted to be respected. And more than that, I wanted to be free. And freedom doesn't come when you're constantly wondering what others think about you. That's slavery. That's weakness. That's what keeps you average. You're checking how many people viewed your story instead of checking how much you've progressed toward your goals. You're changing who you are just to fit in. When the real winners, they stand out because they don't give a damn. I've sat at tables with billionaires who said almost nothing. Why? Because their aura spoke louder than their mouths ever could. No chains, no neediness, just certainty, just value. And every person in the room could feel it. That's the power of not begging for attention. It demands attention without even asking. Every time you seek approval, you make yourself smaller. Every time you base your worth on someone's reaction, you weaken your foundation. You give away a piece of your soul for a few crumbs of external praise. And the problem is most men are starving for it because they've never learned to feed themselves from within. But when you stop chasing, when you stop caring about how many followers you have or who's texting back or who's watching your moves, you take all your energy back. And when that energy gets redirected into your craft, your business, your body, your vision, that's when you become dangerous. The world bows to. That's the paradox. The more you detach, the more they chase. The more you focus on building value, the more the world comes to you. It's not about being cold, it's about being complete. Not needing the world to fill your cup because you've already built your own damn fountain. That's power, that's rare, and that's exactly why it's respected. You can't be a lion if you're afraid of the silence. Lions don't beg for the noise, they own the jungle through presence, not performance. And that's where most men today fail. They fear silence because it reflects, it echoes, it confronts them with the truth they've been running from, that without distractions, they're nobody. People love chaos because it drowns the voice inside that says you're wasting your life. So they fill their days with scrolling, their nights with alcohol, their weekends with parties, thinking that constant movement equals purpose. It doesn't. It's a disguise, a mask, a coward's escape from self-awareness. The silence, that's where you meet the real you. And most people aren't ready for that fight. I remember nights alone with nothing but a notebook and my thoughts. No music, no messages, no noise, just dead silence and the weight of my own mind pressing down like 100 kilos. And that was the best damn thing that ever happened to me. Because when you sit in that storm long enough, when you face the thoughts that tear weaker men apart, you start to build armor. Mental, emotional, spiritual. You stop breaking and you start becoming. If you want to dominate life, you need to become dangerous in the dark. You need to be so comfortable in the silence that it feels like home, like a gym for your mind. Because if you can't sit alone with your own thoughts without panicking, how the hell do you expect to handle life when it hits you hard? If you can't control your mind when it's quiet, you'll get destroyed when it's loud. That's why I trained in the silence, worked in the silence, built in the silence. I didn't need anyone watching. I didn't care about the applause because I wasn't performing, I was preparing. Lions don't need to roar every 5 minutes. They observe, they stalk, and when they move, everything feels it. That's the level I operate on. And that's what separates the boys from the men. Boys need attention to feel alive. Men generate purpose through discipline. They use the silence to strategize, to build, to sharpen every edge. Until their mind is a weapon. While everyone else is running from themselves, they're mastering themselves. That's why when they step into the room, everything shifts. Because they earned that energy in the dark. Most people never tap into that. They fear being alone because they've built their identity around noise. Take away the crowd, the validation, the constant input, and they crumble. But me, I love it. I crave it. Because in that silence, I know exactly who I am. I know exactly what I'm becoming. And I don't need anyone else to confirm. The silence isn't empty. It's full of answers, if you're strong enough to hear them. So let me ask you again, are you strong enough to be happy alone? Because if you're not, the world will chew you up. It'll sell you distractions, it'll trap you in fake relationships, pointless noise, and endless scrolling until one day you wake up and realize you've lived your whole life for nothing. No impact, no legacy, no power, just noise and regret. But if you are strong enough, if you can wake up every morning with no applause, no support, no handouts, and still show up like a savage ready to conquer the day, if you can sit in silence and hear the roar inside your own chest louder than the opinions of the world, if you can stop chasing and start building in your body, your business, your mind, your purpose, without asking for permission, without begging to be seen, then congratulations, you're already one of the rare ones. The wolves, the outliers, the ones who don't just play the game, they flip the board. So stop waiting for someone to believe in you. Be alone, be strong, be legendary. Because in this life, the man who learns to be happy alone, he doesn't just survive,